I don't usually talk about this, mostly because when I did try, nobody believed me. But I swear to you, every word of this is true. It happened 3 years ago when I was 12. It was Easter break, and my mom took my little brother Marcus and me to visit our grandparents in Belgium. It was supposed to be a quiet family trip. Some sightseeing, good food, and the usual chocolate overload. The thing is, I'm severely allergic to garlic. Not like my throat tickles allergic. More like I can't breathe and need a hospital allergic. Everyone in the family knows this, especially Marcus. We don't get along much. He's the kind of kid who always wants something in return. Always has to win. Always keeps score. But he was only 10 at the time, and I thought maybe, being around family would chill him out. It didn't. One afternoon, I was in the kitchen making soup for lunch. It was just one of those instant cups: water, stir, microwave. My mom was out shopping with our grandma. I had a song stuck in my head and was humming as I poured the hot water in. Then I felt it, the urgent need to pee. I asked Marcus if he could keep an eye on the soup for 1 minute while I ran to the bathroom. He was standing nearby, doing nothing, and I figured it wasn't a big deal. He smirked. "What do I get if I do it?" "Marcus," I groaned, "just watch it for 60 seconds. He shrugged. "Fine." I ran to the bathroom, washed my hands, came back, and he was gone, whatever. The soup wasn't bubbling over. No harm done. I stirred it, took a bite, and went upstairs to practice my bass. I just started learning Girls and Boys by Blur. I remember because I only got through the first few bars before I started feeling sick. Really sick. My head was pounding. My stomach twisted in knots. I felt like I was going to faint. I barely made it to the bathroom before I threw up. And I kept throwing up. For hours. My skin broke into a sweat. My throat tightened. Not like anaphylaxis, but close. I was shaking, crying, and barely able to stand. I knew the feeling. This had happened once before. Back when I accidentally ate something with garlic in it at a restaurant. That's when it clicked. I pulled myself to the kitchen. The soup package was still on the counter. I checked the ingredients. Nothing with garlic. I checked again. Still nothing. I might have let it go, if Marcus hadn't walked into the room at that exact moment. He looked at me hunched over the trash can and said, almost casually, "Hey, you know that garlic thing? I wanted to see if it was real." I stared at him. What did you do?" He smiled. "I put a little bit in your soup, like just a pinch. I found some in the spice cabinet." My legs went weak. "Why would you do that?" I asked, barely able to breathe. "I don't know," he said, like it was nothing. "You always say you're allergic. I just wanted to see what would happen." I couldn't believe it. He didn't even look guilty. No panic. No, "I'm sorry." He just walked away. I told my mom when she got back. I expected her to freak out, to yell, to punish him, something. But instead, she sighed. "I'm sure it was just a misunderstanding," she said. "He's young. He probably didn't realize how serious it was. He said he did it on purpose," I shouted. "Still," she said, lowering her voice, "he's your little brother. You're older. You need to be the bigger person." That night, as I lay in bed clutching a bucket, I heard Marcus outside my door. He was giggling. Then he whispered something through the crack. "Still alive?" The next day, I checked the spice cabinet. There was a tiny garlic jar sitting near the back. Its lid was loose, and next to it was something else. A folded note. It was written in Marcus's handwriting. "Next time, I'll use more." I kept that note for a while. I planned to show it to my parents, to prove what kind of kid he really was, but the next time I went to get it, it was gone. Like he knew, like he wanted me to know he knew. Now I make sure I cook my own food. I don't eat anything Marcus touches. He acts normal around everyone else. Still smiles, still jokes, but every now and then I catch him watching me eat, and I swear, he's waiting for something. It was Easter weekend when I moved into the guest room. My cousins were visiting from out of town, and our parents gave them my bedroom since it had 2 beds. I was told I'd sleep in the guest room just for a few nights. I didn't mind. The guest room was small but quiet, tucked away at the far end of the hallway next to the attic door. It always felt a little cold in there, but I figured it was just older insulation. The first night was normal. The second night, I noticed something strange. There was a window in the wall directly across from the bed. That wouldn't be strange except that wall didn't face outside. It faced the hallway, the inside of the house. I got up and opened the door, stepping out to look at the same wall from the hallway. Solid drywall, no window. Back inside the room, it was still there, square, white trim, a shade half drawn, just enough to hide whatever was on the other side. I didn't say anything. Maybe it was a weird design trick or a leftover feature from before the house was remodeled. That's what I told myself. The third night, I saw something new. The shade had been pulled up, and through the window, I could see into another room. Not a part of our house. It was smaller, older, cracked wallpaper, a single light bulb hanging down, no furniture, just a dark, dirty floor. I didn't look for long. Something about it made me feel sick. The next morning, Easter Sunday, my family was loud and excited. My little cousins raced through the house looking for plastic eggs, screaming with joy every time they found one. But I couldn't stop thinking about the room behind the glass. That night, I stayed up late. I kept glancing at the window, heart pounding. Around 2:30 a.m., I heard something. A soft tap. I turned slowly toward the sound. There was a man standing in the other room. He was tall, pale, wearing an oversized white shirt that hung to his knees. His head was tilted to the side, like he was listening. His eyes were open but wrong, too wide, almost like he didn't blink. He smiled, and he reached toward the glass. I backed away, grabbing my flashlight. When I turned it on and pointed it at the window, the room was empty. Just dust and darkness. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. In the morning, there was a knock at the front door. My little cousin answered before anyone else could stop her. She came running into the kitchen holding something in her hands. It was a bright green plastic egg. "Someone left it on the porch," she said. My mom smiled. "How sweet." Inside the egg was a slip of paper. "One of you saw me, one of you believes." They all laughed, said it must have been part of the Easter scavenger hunt. Probably something their dad hid as a joke. But I knew the truth. That night I locked the bedroom door. Still, I couldn't sleep. Around 3:12 a.m., I woke up gasping. The air was freezing. My breath hung in front of me like smoke. I turned slowly toward the window. It was open. No glass, no screen. Just an empty square leading into the other room. And lying on the floor beneath it was an Easter basket, old-fashioned, woven. The plastic grass inside was gray, faded, dusty. I got closer, holding my flashlight tight. Inside the basket was a photograph, black and white. It showed a girl, maybe 8 years old, lying in this same bed. My bed, and standing behind the open window was the man. Closer this time. No smile. In the corner of the photo, I saw something else, the same basket. My hands started to shake. I backed away from the window, eyes wide. That's when I saw the writing on the glass, scrawled in reverse like someone wrote it from the other side. "I'll see you next Easter," I told my parents. I told everyone. They said I'd had a bad dream. They cleaned up the guest room and let me move back into mine. The window was gone. There was never any photo, no basket, no egg, but I know what I saw, and now, every year, right around Easter, I find a green plastic egg on my windowsill, still warm, still closed, and I never open it. I was 8 years old the Easter it happened. We lived out in the country, in one of those big old houses that creaked even when nobody was walking. We had a long gravel driveway, a bunch of trees around the yard, and not many neighbors close by. My mom was doing laundry in the back of the house, and I was in the living room watching cartoons. That's when someone knocked on the side door. Not the front one, the side door, the one barely anyone ever used. It led into the dining room, and it had an old curtain covering its window. I wasn't supposed to open the door for anyone. My parents were very clear about that, but I figured I could peek through the curtain and just see who it was. So I did. And that's when I saw him, the Easter Bunny. At least, that's what my brain told me at first. It was a man in a bunny suit, bright pink, oversized feet, big white gloves. He was holding a basket filled with colorful plastic eggs, the kind I loved to hunt for every year. He saw me peek, and then he did this weird little hop. Then he waved. I didn't wave back. He knocked again. "Hi there, little girl," he said in this cartoony voice. "You gonna let me in so I can hide the eggs?" I didn't answer. I just stood there, frozen behind the curtain. He tilted his head like he was confused. "Come on now, it's Easter. I've got treats just for you, but you have to invite me in." That's when something inside me said, "No, something's wrong." Even at 8, I knew costumes weren't real. The Easter Bunny wasn't real. And grown-ups didn't need permission from kids to walk into houses. That phrase, "you have to invite me in," didn't sit right with me. It sounded like something from a vampire movie. So I asked through the door, "Who are you, really?" He sighed. "I'm the Easter Bunny," he said, sharper now. "And I need you to open the door." I backed away. "I'm gonna go ask my mom." That's when he got mad. "No," he said, suddenly louder. "You don't need to do that. I'm here to see you. These eggs are for you." I turned and ran. My mom was still in the laundry room, folding towels. "There's a man dressed like a bunny at the side door," I said. "He wants me to let him in." At first, she just laughed. She thought I was being silly. But when I insisted, when she saw how serious my face was, she wiped her hands and followed me to the dining room. He was gone. We opened the door and looked around. No pink bunny, no basket. Not even a footprint in the dirt near the porch. "You see?" she said, ruffling my hair. "Probably just your imagination." She made me sit on the couch and told me to stop making things up. I remember staring at the side door, scared to even blink. That night, my dad came home and told my mom something that made her face go pale. There had been a robbery a few miles down the road. A mom and her young son were home when it happened. The boy answered the door to a man in a costume, not a bunny, but something childish. And that's when the man forced his way in. The mom got hurt. The house was trashed. The police were still looking for the guy. My mom didn't say a word to me about it. But that night, I heard her lock every door and window in the house. Even the ones she usually left cracked open. The next morning, Easter Sunday, I woke up early. There were no eggs hidden, no candy in the basket, no trail of jelly beans like there usually was. I figured my parents forgot or were just tired. But when I walked into the dining room, I stopped. Sitting on the floor near the side door was a single plastic egg. Green. I picked it up. Inside was a piece of paper, written in thick black marker. "You should have let me in." I never told my parents about that egg, and I never opened the door for a stranger again.